a little daunting as well. I definitely felt like there was a responsibility to the fans and anyone that's watched this show before, and you know, it definitely wasn't lost on me that people cared about this world so much and these characters, and I think it just motivated me to make sure that I understood where this character was at coming into my journey and where he'd been and what his motivation was moving forward.
Is season 4 for The Witcher not looking good so far when it comes to the reviews? When it comes to the critics, right now they're at 55%. But when it comes to the fans, 19% on Rotten Tomatoes.
From the moment the Witcher 4 trailer dropped, the reaction was explosive. Fans didn't just criticize it, they tore it apart in real time. Dislikes climbed faster than views, and every comment section echoed one name: Henry Cavill. The backlash wasn't subtle, it was overwhelming, and Netflix never saw it coming. What was meant to be Liam Hemsworth's big debut became one of the harshest trailer meltdowns of the year. Reaction channels mocked every frame, TikTok edits compared Henry to Liam, and the difference felt painful to viewers who already lost faith. Netflix promoted the trailer as a fresh start, but fans saw it as proof the studio ruined the franchise.
I never want to imitate anything that anyone else has ever done. I think there's obviously qualities about this character that are going to be similar, you know, but this is my interpretation of the character, and you know, and I'm aware of how much people care about this character in this world. So, you know, I just tried to do what I thought was most truthful.
Inside the studio, panic hit fast. Teams expected criticism, but not a collapse this loud before the season even aired. Analysts called it a warning sign. Investors whispered behind the scenes. The once loyal Witcher fanbase turned into something Netflix couldn't control. The trailer didn't just flop, it ignited a wave of anger across every platform. But the most shocking part happened off camera. As the internet demanded Henry's return, Liam Hemsworth watched the disaster unfold and finally reached his breaking point. And what he did next sparked a confrontation inside Netflix no one anticipated.
And I guess bringing in a new White Wolf at this point in the season, a bold move and a tall order for Liam.
And of course, he wanted to honor the character that had already been set up, because he knows that he's stepping into a role. But at the same time, he wanted to make sure that his performance was authentic, that it felt like him, that he wasn't laying and mimicking anything. And so,
I'm gonna ask you guys something. Are you excited for Witcher season 4?
Isn't it out right now on Netflix?
Just coming out, and the reviews have started to drop. So
because I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, and bear in mind, given the backlash, I would expect a little bit of review bombing. So people who haven't seen it but who hate the concept. Oh no, you're behind, Drinker.
It's down to. Is it changed?
It's down to 17.
The Witcher 4 trailer didn't just disappoint fans, it sparked a reaction Netflix never saw coming. Within minutes, dislike bars surged while reaction videos mocked nearly every frame. Viewers called the footage lifeless and disconnected from what made this series special, and even casual watchers said something felt off. Across social platforms, the tone escalated fast. Side-by-side edits comparing Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth spread everywhere, and fans labeled the shift a downgrade, a miscast, and even a corporate version of Geralt. To them, the issue wasn't only performance, it was identity.
Millions of people are canceling their Netflix subscriptions. Why Netflix stock is absolutely tanking right now. I mean, it is just collapsing totally in the red. And you can see that it is on a massive downward slope this month. It's cratering. Why is that happening?
Comment sections exploded with frustration. Fans demanded Cavill's return, questioned Netflix's leadership, and accused the studio of ignoring warnings for years. The dislike ratio climbed non-stop, pushing the trailer deeper into disaster territory. The message was clear. Viewers rejected the new direction. Netflix expected mixed reactions, but nothing like this collapse. What they planned as a confident reintroduction of Geralt turned into a global outcry. But the worst fallout wasn't online. It was inside Netflix, where panic spread faster than the comments. Inside Netflix headquarters, departments went into emergency mode the moment the analytics dashboard refreshed. Engagement was collapsing, sentiment was red worldwide, and marketing teams realized the reveal had completely backfired. What was meant to be a triumphant return now looked like the start of a crisis. Executives scrambled into sudden calls trying to explain the numbers. Some blamed fan nostalgia, others blamed expectations, but no one wanted to admit the truth. Netflix underestimated how much Cavill meant to the franchise, and the fallout was now unavoidable. Analysts issued quiet warnings. If fans rejected the trailer this aggressively, the full season could trigger an even bigger disaster. Some pushed for a delay or a re-edit, but the damage was done. the internet had already made its verdict. Inside the building, whispers spread faster than official reports. People weren't just worried about bad press, they feared for the future of the entire franchise, and rumors began circulating about who the executives planned to blame next. As Backlash intensified, internal reports hinted at a harsh reality. Some higher-ups were preparing to shift responsibility onto Liam Hemsworth, framing the failure as a performance issue instead of a studio error. Script problems didn't matter. Liam was the face of the trailer, which made him the easiest target. Staff close to the project overheard talk about repositioning the narrative. Netflix needed someone to absorb the heat to protect the brand, and that someone was Liam. A decision made entirely out of convenience. Liam didn't hear this from executives. He heard it from people who quietly warned him. At first, he didn't believe it. He had been promised support and a team behind him. Instead, he was being lined up as the fall guy. As he processed everything, the weight grew heavier. The internet was roasting him. The studio was distancing itself. Fans rejected him, and Netflix was preparing to hand him the blame. Something inside him cracked, and that moment pushed him toward a decision he never planned to make. From the start, Liam knew comparisons to Henry were inevitable, but he didn't expect this level of hostility. Every frame of the trailer became ammunition. Fans analyzed his voice, posture, sword swings. Every detail became a reason to mock him. Liam tried staying positive, posting supportive messages, but comment sections filled instantly with demands for Cavill's return. Even neutral posts turned into arguments. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were angry. And Liam felt that anger every time he checked his phone. By the third day, the pressure overwhelmed him. He turned off comments, stepped back from social media, and withdrew from public spaces. Friends said he looked exhausted, like he was carrying a weight he couldn't shake. The lowest moment came when he realized the studio had no plan to defend him. No strategy, no statement, no support. He wasn't just being mocked by fans, he was being abandoned by the people who hired him. And that betrayal forced him to act. When Liam accepted the role, Netflix promised a fresh creative direction, stronger scripts, deeper lore, and a unified team. They assured him he'd be supported and protected as the new Geralt. But behind the scenes, nothing matched those promises. Scripts were rushed and constantly rewritten. Visual teams were overworked. Production was squeezed into an impossible timeline. And instead of a reboot, Liam walked into a fractured team still recovering from Cavill's exit. Nothing was stable. And Netflix pretended everything was fine. The more he learned, the more betrayed he felt. The reboot didn't exist. The protection wasn't real. And the support vanished the moment the trailer tanked. He realized he stepped into a role already doomed long before he arrived. That's when he made a decision. If Netflix wouldn't give him answers, he'd demand them himself. And there was only one person powerful enough to face directly: Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos. Liam walked into Netflix headquarters with a calm intensity that caught everyone off guard. He didn't request a meeting or send emails. He demanded to speak with Ted Sarandos directly. After watching Netflix mishandle the Backlash, he refused to let the company quietly pin the failure on him. When the meeting started, he placed the analytics on the table. Views dropping, dislikes rising, reactions overwhelmingly negative. He didn't soften the truth. He told Ted the numbers weren't mixed, they were a collapse. And he wanted to know why he was sold a version of The Witcher that never existed, then left alone to take the fall. Ted tried to ease the tension by talking about long-term audience growth and adaptation, but Liam wasn't interested in corporate optimism. He was done with vague promises. He told Ted directly that Netflix pushed out a rushed project and expected him to absorb the backlash. The tension escalated quickly. This wasn't about a trailer anymore. It was about years of decisions and arrogance. And then Liam said something that froze the entire room. Liam leaned in and delivered the truth Netflix avoided for years. "You didn't want a new Geralt," he said. "You wanted someone to erase the one you threw away." Everyone knew exactly who he meant. Henry Cavill. Ted didn't argue. He didn't deny it. He just stared back, knowing Liam had spoken the quiet truth out loud. Netflix tried rebuilding the franchise without confronting Cavill's legacy, pretending fans would adjust and ignoring what made the show special. Sources say the energy shifted instantly. Liam wasn't blaming Cavill, he was acknowledging reality. The show didn't fall apart because Liam wasn't enough. It fell apart because Netflix ignored the heart of the series. That quote spread across fan forums within hours, and for the first time since the trailer dropped, the internet didn't attack Liam. They felt sympathy. They saw him as someone caught in a fight he didn't start. Once the confrontation leaked, Netflix switched to full damage control. Marketing scrubbed ads, removed trailer placements, and buried sponsored posts. It looked like they were erasing the reveal altogether. Press teams went silent. No interviews, no comments, no explanations. Internally, the atmosphere grew tense. Senior staff debated whether to push forward or let the season sink quietly. Some pushed for rewrites, others suggested canceling. No one reached a solution. Meanwhile, the cast stayed quiet. No one promoted the trailer or defended the show. They knew the situation was too volatile, and every attempt to fix it only angered fans. Netflix hoped burying the trailer would stop the bleeding, but it didn't. Because while they hid the failure, fans amplified something else: Henry Cavill's legacy. As The Witcher 4 trailer collapsed, Henry Cavill clips surged across the internet. Old scenes trended again. Fans highlighted his intensity, his respect for the lore, and his commitment to the world. To them, Henry wasn't just Geralt. He was the series. Inside Netflix, even writers quietly admitted what fans long knew. Losing Cavill wasn't a casting issue. It was the moment the heart of the franchise vanished. Every Liam clip triggered a painful comparison. Every Henry clip reminded fans of what they lost. Henry didn't say a word publicly. His silence said everything. Fans saw dignity, professionalism, and the loyalty they felt Netflix ignored. No matter how hard Netflix pushed forward, Cavill's presence haunted every discussion. The Witcher wasn't missing an actor. It was missing its foundation. Behind closed doors, Netflix held emergency meetings about the franchise's future. Executives feared releasing Witcher 4 could trigger a backlash bigger than anything so far. Some argued for delays. Others suggested ending the season quietly. Liam, exhausted and frustrated, questioned his entire involvement. The pressure wasn't easing, the comparisons weren't fading, and Netflix still had no real plan. He felt like he had been brought in to fix a disaster created years before he arrived. Fans kept asking the same brutal question: why push forward with a version of The Witcher no one wanted? Netflix had no convincing answer. Every meeting, memo, and strategy test led nowhere. By the end of the week, the franchise felt dangerously unstable. The trailer didn't just flop, it exposed the deeper rift between Netflix and the fans who once made the series a global hit. The Witcher 4 trailer wasn't supposed to be a disaster. It was supposed to mark a new beginning. Instead, it became the spark that revealed every hidden crack inside the franchise. Fans weren't rejecting Liam. They were rejecting years of choices that ignored the heart of the story. They were rejecting a studio that believed it knew better than its audience. Liam became the face of a storm he didn't create, a talented actor caught in a crossfire between fan loyalty and corporate confidence. His confrontation with the CEO wasn't about ego. It was about truth, a truth no one else in the room was willing to say out loud. Cavill mattered. The lore mattered. The audience mattered. Netflix tried to bury the backlash, but the internet refused to forget. Fans demanded respect for the world they loved. They demanded honesty. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, Liam finally earned the sympathy that had been denied to him from the start. Because in the end, this wasn't a story about a bad trailer. It was a story about a franchise that lost its soul, a studio that ignored its audience, and a role that was never meant to be recast. Some characters can be imitated, some can be replaced, but some, like the White Wolf, belong to only one person.